Good rising, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Talk with me, your hostess, Karen B. I know I don't usually give titles to my coffee talks. It's just a numbered kind of open topic, like variety type thing, but I thought today I would focus on what I'm going to call giant tree hesitancy. Because as I've expressed before, I'm highly skeptical about this theory that is very popular right now that basically says that there was a bunch of these like Titanic-sized trees, right? Like, and I don't mean giant like what we already, what you could, already have, basically like giant cedars and redwoods and sequoia trees. I'm talking about like these people think these trees were miles high, and they were miles high, and then they were somehow cut down or whatever. I don't know I guess I'm not really clear about that part right there. And then they somehow became what we know today as the mountains or whatever. So I just thought I would discuss that today, and I would go over the main points why I just don't necessarily believe that is true. I guess I'm highly skeptical because I have still a lot of questions that I don't think have been answered, and I also have my own alternative theory as to how some of these formations came about and what's going on. And over the years, the few years that this has been going on, it's not something I've really focused on. It's just something I kind of looked at kind of in the background. It's not really been something I mainly talk about because well, first of all, back in 2016, when all of this began, that video came out called No Forests on Flat Earth, and it was like some Russian, I guess, video, and it had subtitles on it, and then people voiced it in English and then reshared it, and it became very, very popular. And it basically went over, it basically told everybody that mountains were trees and that there were no forests on flat Earth. Like what we know today is actually just moss. It's not really like it's not the real forest, right? And I didn't like that video. I watched it and I was like, yeah, I don't buy it. Because here's one thing. First of all, I live in the woods. I live in an area where there are trees everywhere. So whenever I look out my window, I see trees. And here's what really gets me. Like that video came out right after like 2016, right? It was pretty early, right? It was pretty early. And I think it was 2016, or maybe it was 2017. I actually don't really remember. If anybody can remember what year that video came out originally, maybe I can find it on YouTube. I'm sure YouTube will be happy to show it to me. Let's see. No trees on flat Earth, 5 years ago. So what is that now? Is this the original one? 40,000 views? Share thanks to DITRH. Okay, so that's not even the original one. Anyway. Look it, YouTube has no problem trying to show me this, right? Must be true. Anyway, so when this video came out, I didn't like it because I had just, I felt like we were still relatively new in flat Earth. Oh shit, you know what? I don't think I hit live on Rockfin. Fuck. As usual. Sorry, Rockfin. Fuck. Anyway. Does anybody want to volunteer to be my producer? I swear to God, dude, it's hard. It's hard to remember everything. It's hard to remember everything. I got real life I got to deal with. And then I got to, be the producer and the, multimedia person. And, it's like everything is a one-man show. So I do apologize. But, 2017... I think I want to say it came out in 2016. Melted trees. But anyway. So I felt like it came out relatively quickly after the majority of people originally started coming into flat Earth, that first major influx, which was 2015, right? That's when I woke up. That's when most people will say 2015, maybe a little bit earlier than that. You'll find some people 2014 and rarely earlier than that. But the major influx of people waking up to flat Earth was 2015, right? And so then shortly after that, it was no trees on flat Earth. I see evidence that trees were very large too, but here's the thing. I think that it's blown out of proportion. I think that the trees aren't like there were giant trees. And actually, you guys, we still have giant trees. Have you guys seen the sequoias? Have you seen the giant redwoods? Up in British Columbia, they've got giant red cedar trees. They do have giant trees. Okay, we do have them. Those trees are freaking huge, and they're not all over. Not all trees get that big. There's none of the trees in my yard that are that big. I mean, I have trees that are probably, they're so big around I can't wrap my arms around them. They're pretty big, but they're not that big. They're not this big. Does this not count as a giant tree? Does that not count? Here's what I want to know. Do these not count as giant trees, first of all? Because I consider these giant trees. When I grew up in California. This is British Columbia. But I grew up in California and the West Coast there. And I went to the redwood forest and you can't even see the top of those trees. I consider those to be giant trees. Are you kidding? They're hundreds of feet tall, and the trees around here, I don't think most of them even get to be anywhere near 100 feet. They're 50 feet at the most, or 40 feet. They're not. So I want to know what constitutes a giant tree? Is this not big enough to be a giant tree? Because this isn't average. This is pretty big for what you see around, right? Yeah, all mountains being trees is a leap. And I just want to discuss why I feel like that can't be the case, or that shouldn't say can't, but most likely is not the case. Okay, so first of all, that film came out, or that film, it's not even a film, that video came out right after Flat Earth, when we were still trying to figure stuff out, right? Our minds had already been completely blown wide open by Flat Earth, and it was very new. And then that video came out, and I, in my opinion, feel like that video sort of planted that seed, or put that preconceived idea into everybody's psyche back then. And then we still didn't know anything, or really know enough, I think, to sort of contemplate, or maybe we just weren't ready to have those conversations. But for me, Like as soon as I saw that video, I was kind of out on it. I said, no, there's trees everywhere. And I just woke up from flat earth from being told, from getting to the point where it was okay to believe what I was seeing with my eyes. Like for instance, when we see too far across long distances across water, and you know that you're seeing something that you shouldn't be able to see if we do live on a ball, the size and shape that they tell us that it is, right? That they're telling you, oh, refraction is bending the light around the ball. They're trying to make you not believe what you're seeing, right? And not believe your senses. So I just wake up from that, come to flat earth where I'm like, okay, now I'm going to start looking at everything really, I'm going to start scrutinizing everything really a lot, right? Like now I'm going to start asking questions, and I'm not just going to, let somebody tell me what is, right? And I feel like that video was kind of trying to tell me what I was looking at when I could tell with my own senses were telling me that was wrong. Okay. So that video kind of upset me a little bit, and then it went viral and everybody was all into it. And, you know, and for years, everybody's like, oh, giant tree, blah, 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 blah. Devil's Tower is a giant tree, guys. Everybody look, it just looks like a tree stump. Yes, it looks like a tree stump, but that doesn't mean it is. I mean, it's like you guys can't just, you know, some stuff looks, you know, hey, look, the ship looks like it's disappearing from the bottom up. It must be going over the curve. Well, no, that's not what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So this is just how I look at it now. You know, and most people, I get it, are going to disagree with me. I've been facing this for a long time already. People, you know, they think, like, I got called a gatekeeper by somebody who's supposed to be a really good friend. I got called a gatekeeper. You're gatekeeping people from the giant trees. Look, I am not a gatekeeper. All I can do is tell things the way that I see them, okay? Not everybody's gonna agree, right? That doesn't make me a gatekeeper. Look, so there's this whole trendy idea that giant trees were like Titanic size, like miles high, and then they fell over and then they became the mountains, okay? I don't agree with this. Now, were there bigger trees than we have now? Sure. Possibly, why not? And then people came and started cutting them down and using them for stuff, and like even now we know that they cut down bigger trees than that are alive today. But it's just that there's, you know, man doesn't allow them to grow that big anymore, right? We use them now, or stuff happens, or even, you know, I kind of feel like maybe the stuff they spray in the air ultimately inhibits the growth of the flora and the fauna. You know, that's a whole nother discussion, but I know you get it, Cammy. Originally the guy's account was terminated. His theory is just his theory. Yeah, okay. Okay, petrified trees and bark. Okay, but that's not miles high. That doesn't mean the whole mountain is a tree. You see what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. Let's see. How does a tree grow? And the roots. So how much of the tree is above ground is my question, and how much of the tree is below ground? Okay, so how far do tree roots grow down? Study looked at 5 different trees. Tree roots don't grow more than 24 inches below the surface, so soil volumes deeper than that are not viable. Not so. Let's get debunking. Blah, blah, blah. Deep tree roots. Here we go. Black walnut, like 14 feet, 15 feet down. So what is the proportion of the tree that is actually below ground, right? They're going pretty deep. Now imagine like a big tree like that, it would have to have pretty deep roots, right? To be able to keep standing through time, weather, you know? Don't you think so? So for a tree to be 30 miles high, how deep do the roots have to go? 10 miles? 20 miles? Another like 30 miles? Is it the same above as it is below? I mean, nobody has ever proven that tree roots have gone that deep. And first of all, you know, it can't just be giant trees. It has to be like the whole ecosystem has to be there to support the giant tree. Like, is it just a tree or is it other stuff? You know, it just doesn't really make sense to me. And then this whole thing about giant trees becoming the rocks and becoming quartz and making gold, that's totally backwards. That is totally backwards, okay? First there was the rocks. The rock is the foundation to the earth, the pillars, the rock, like the bedrock. You are my rock. Like, rocks are used as foundations because they're rocks. A tree is an organic thing, right? A tree is a living thing. So the living thing needs support. The living thing needs a support system. We all need something to live upon. The rocks are the things that we live upon. It's like part of the building blocks of the natural realm that we all live upon. It's like, and I keep saying this, Crow addressed it in this video, forgot what he said. What is it? Addressed what? Presumably then there would have been very few of these trees. Okay, but right, why? Pretty sure he called poppycock. Yeah. Okay, so, you know, I think it's a backwards conclusion because first of all, quartz, which is a mineral, which is like the most plentiful mineral on Earth. It has piezoelectric properties. It's used in all kinds of electronics and technologies. It's one of the basic building blocks. I think it's possibly part of how this realm is actually has power, right? So a tree, to me, in my opinion, the trees are important. They play an important part of the you know, ecosystem and the whole realm and all of that stuff. But they're not they're not the foundation of it. Like, it's backwards in my opinion. So in the beginning, and I just want to point this out. Am I supposed to play that, Rose? What's this? No trees, forest on flat earth. I found a tree made of wood. Like, do you want me to play that? Hey, Martin. Rocks are our cousins, Michelle Faller. I remember when she said that, how lame. Yes, wood can be petrified. Yes, wood can be petrified through a process called petrifaction or petrification, where what happens is, this is what I think, okay, see, you're getting a little bit ahead. See, I haven't got that far yet to what I think is going on here and where I think the confusion is. Central Illinois, 50-foot topsoil. See, this is what I'm saying. How far down do we have to go before we hit bedrock? Do you think the trees are growing into the bedrock? You know what I'm saying? Like the earth, what we know about earth and what we know about trees that are 10, 20 miles tall, to me, it doesn't seem like the earth could even sustain a tree like that. It just doesn't, nobody's even dug past, what was it, 8 miles? And even that was like hard as hell to get to. I mean, nobody has ever gone up to any of these supposed trees, okay, and gone and excavated or shown for a fact that that these are trees and the roots are going in the ground. And I know people are saying, oh, but it looks like roots are growing in the ground. Let's see. Let's see if we can look at some crystal pictures. Crystals growing in the matrix. Images. Okay, so let's see. This thing probably is not going to show me what I want to see. Growing crystals. Crystals growing in the matrix. Maybe I should just say crystals in the matrix so that it doesn't confuse growing. Just show me crystals in the matrix. Here we go. That's better. So like here, you have a matrix, and then the crystals grow up out of it. This is what I think is happening with the mountains. So, what it would seem to me, right, is there's the base, right, of the realm, the pillars, which could be crystal, most likely are crystal. I mean, the dome is described as crystalline. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up Genesis 1, okay? And I know, the Bible, blah, 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 whatever, is supposed to not be a scientific book, but the Bible describes things that can be likened to things that we understand to be fact scientifically, or, things that we know that seem to be correct, scientifically correct in the modern world. And let me explain that right now. Okay, so in Genesis 1, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth, right? So this is what it says. And the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. So, in the beginning, how they made the heavens and the earth is they had a supersaturated crystalline slurry. I love to say this, and I love it that it triggers people. Like, why do you think that crystals have been made a joke? They tell you that crystals are not just for hippies, okay? It's not just, like a woo-woo thing, it's crystals have, are like part of the key to how this realm works. They have different refractive properties, different electric magnetic properties, okay? Some of them are naturally magnetic, like lodestone, magnetite, okay? So all of these things that we understand today, and these things that we learned, these things from earth, from the realm, from the things that exist in the realm today, okay? So, in the beginning, darkness was on the face of the deep, and the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. Now, how do most crystals grow? They grow from a supersaturated crystalline slurry. So this is how now. And then Elohim said, let light come to be, and light came to be. What is light? Light is information. Light is data. Light is the spark. Light is what animates this place, right? It just is. Light is like all encompassing of everything on the, light. Let there be light. That's the divine spark being imbued into the supersaturated slurry, the massive supersaturated slurry that was in the realm before all of the land formed, right? So, and the Elohim saw that light was good and separated the light from the darkness. Okay, so now we have things working. We have crystals forming, big, massive, giant. In the very beginning, they would be giant crystals. So let's look. Let's get an idea of giant crystals. Like here. This is the giant selenite cave that always comes up whenever, we look at giant crystals. So these are the guys. They have to wear special suits when they go deep underground. This is underground, hundreds of feet underground, by the way, in Mexico. So these guys have to put these special suits on. They're cooling suits, and they have oxygen in them because it's like hot in there. It's hot and humid and disgusting. And it is like the perfect environment for crystals to live and grow, okay? Because that is what they do. They live and they grow. And here's the other thing. Trees, they don't live, crystals live, but they're not living like the same way that like an organic life form lives, like a tree, right? Like the tree has a finite life. And actually, crystals kind of do too, but it's much longer. But trees have a finite life, right? Like trees don't live forever. They live a very, very, very long time, but they don't live forever, right? So, and you can age a tree. You can cut it down and you can look at its rings and you can tell the age of the tree. You can never age a crystal or a rock. Like you can't. It's something that exists on this realm, but you can never tell how old it is. You can never age it and say, this crystal is X amount of years old. Like you can have this crystal up here in the corner could be 100 years old. And then these other bigger ones down here could be like a few thousand years old, right? Because this environment is constantly forming crystals. It's like when you go to these crystal mines, and they have big piles of dirt, like where we go at Diamond Hill Mine. They have big piles of dirt, mineral, like that's the raw material, right? And then this area, I think part of why, it does so well with crystal forming is it rains so much here. Like you get deluge, like monsoons of rain, and they come and it rains down on the mineral material, and crystals can grow there, right? It's hot here, it's humid, wet. The crystals grow. So what they do is they take big equipment and they just turn these big piles of soil over and over every once in a while. And then like there's more crystals there. Do you think it's because, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so obvious that you can never age it. Okay. And they're also fractal. I mean, huge. This is a giant stick of selenite. I've got the very same thing that looks like this, but it's only about the size of a pencil, but it's the exact same material. It even grew the same way. It will have the same growth pattern. Are there any questions? "56 feet in diameter," yeah. Brian, are you making my chat all about your tooth? Anyway. 1 second. I meant to have my phones open, so let me open my phones. Because, open to discussion.
Welcome to the conference center. You are a host.
Use snow as an example in your mind. The conditions have to be right. Yes, right? So in the very beginning, the conditions would have been perfect for the beginning of the growth of a giant crystalline landmass, which is exactly what it was, because pretty much all rock is crystalline. Anything that any matter that solidifies to a solid form, that's a crystalline form. It's just different types of crystalline forms, right? So in the very beginning, there would be the original supersaturated crystalline slurry that would be like the soup. Think about it this way. They always give us hints. They give us some of these hints in the language they use in the heliocentric, sort of evolutionary bullshit model that they try to feed you. And I think they use this language to sort of touch within you that truth resonance. Like certain things will resonate as true, right? And so then you start to buy the rest of the story. It's the whole truth mixed with lies sort of. It's the truth mixed with lies trick, and it works brilliantly, right? So they use in the evolutionary tale they use the term primordial soup, right? Primordial soup, like everybody just like you were an amoeba, blah 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 blah. Well, what is that? That's the supersaturated crystalline slurry, actually, is what they're probably trying to, sort of lock into in your mind, right? Because they don't tell you about how any of this stuff works in real life. Like, nobody ever told me. I don't remember. Well, maybe they did and I wasn't paying attention that day, but I don't remember there being a whole lot of focus on them telling us about how crystals work and how they grow and how they form and how certain minerals are very prone to grow with other minerals, i.e. quartz and gold. Like, quartz is found with gold quite often. There's minerals. There's certain groups of minerals that are often found together, right? That's just common. They know how it is. So to say that there were giant titanic trees that had quartz and their sap turned into quartz and then they made gold is completely backwards. What happened is there was the supersaturated crystalline slurry in the very beginning, and the Elohim, the creator, said, "Let there be light." And I translate that into the creator, and this is just not the Christian, but like the Bible version of it, right? I'm sure there's other versions of it that are very similar, that tell the similar story, but it's a little bit different, whatever. The characters are a little bit different to match different localities and different, lands and different cultures and blah, 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 blah. But what I translate that to be is the creator, who, whatever that is to you, okay? Because I try not to like impose my idea. Like, I don't want to, I'm trying to make it as simple and basic and understandable as possible so that it can sort of be, understood at a very basic level. So you have your supersaturated crystal slurry, right? And then the creator, let there be light, is then giving the divine spark to start the action of, I mean, if you believe that this place had to start somewhere, it makes sense, right? So then what happens is the like materials become, it's like they get turned on, right? And their program starts running. You could even think about it that way. I think this is why, like, a lot of people want to call this place a simulation, because I think for them, it's like how you as a human are able to sort of reconcile or understand how this place works, right? Like it's kind of unimaginable to create a place that we live in, like a whole entire existence for millions of people, like on this scale from nothing, right? Like that's a kind of a crazy thing to even really fucking think about if you're honest, right? So I think that's why people think, it's a simulation. Like, but you have to understand that, you aren't the creator. I don't know that we could ever fully understand the creator or even really the creation. But I think, you know, from what we know about how things work today, you can sort of liken that. I can imagine that this is how it would have started, right? So inside of the realm in your supersaturated slurry, and the land start forming, and then so what does it say about the land? Let's see. It says the light and the night and the day. Let the expanse come to be in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. Okay, so the expanse, made the expanse which separated the waters from the waters. So it like makes like a, you know, like it's an expanse, right? So now there's an opening there. There's a space. There's the space. And then the Elohim calls it the heavens. Oh, here we go. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the collection of the waters he called seas, and Elohim called it good. So enough of the original material forms together to form the different land masses. And then you have the separation, right? So now you have it. And I found this really cool video. I wonder if I could find it again. Or maybe I should put time lapse of crystal. So here's some that are growing, right? So this would be in a slurry, and then the material starts to form. It starts to form its highly organized lattice structure, right? And it starts to become solid. It locks together, it creates bonds. There you go, almost from nothing. Almost from nothing, or at least it would seem to be nothing, right? So then what happens is you have to create, there has to be a space in the waters, right? Because when crystals start to form, right? So this is why the expanse would have to be formed first, right? Because there has to be a way for the water to evaporate off. So what happens is you start off with your supersaturated slurry, and you have all of the minerals in there. But in order for the crystals to start growing, there has to be like an evaporation process, right? So then the simple water part will evaporate off. So that's why there has to be an expanse, because the water has to have somewhere to go, right? So the expanse is created, and then the water starts to evaporate off, and that whole cycle starts to happen, right? The water distillation process starts to happen on a natural cycle. And then the solids become solid and they start to form. And that's it. And everything that's left, you know, then of course the creator then puts living creatures. I mean, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how they did that, but the crystal part, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so then the land masses start to grow this way, right? And if you think about it, I mean, and here's the thing. So what are the platonic solids? The crystals follow, you know, all of the golden ratio laws. They're fractal. They look the same, microscopic under a microscope. Let's see, giant crystals. Let's see, micro crystal. You can look at microcrystals. Let's see, microcrystals, super teeny tiny, like a snowflake could even be considered a microcrystal. Here, little crystal. Look at, here's a crystal laying on a penny. So, and it even gets smaller than that, like electron. Let's see, they even have electron microscope. Crystal images. Here we go. So on a micro scale, here is a little dodecahedrons, right? What is this? Scanning electron microscope view of iron crystal moon. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Okay, detour. Are you kidding me? Why are they telling you this is on the moon? What is this? Scanning a foot of iron crystals which grow in small vulgar cavity and recrystallized breccia from Apollo 15 lunar landing site. Oh, they're trying to tell you that came from a moon rock? Well, I don't believe that. But I lost my search. Here we go. But you can look at crystals that small. That is a real thing. Table crystal, table salt is a crystal. Here you go. Kidney stone crystal? Does somebody's kidney stone look like that? Get out of here. Oh, these are all electron microscope crystals. Okay, look at this. What is this? How crystals form on surfaces. Is that a pyramid? Oh, crystals form on the surfaces? So, do you think that maybe all those mountains that look like pyramids, they could be natural formations? What? What? Process of how crystals form on a flat surface, as shown in this electron microscope image. What? Say what? So let's look at pyramid mountains. So some of these, look at this. Pyramidal shape on a mountains. You mean a pyramid formed on a flat surface? You think maybe that could have been a natural now? And everybody's like, aliens! It's Tartaria! It's the ancient civilizations. No, man. No. Pyramids, okay, there's two types, there's two platonic solids that naturally form these shapes. Let's take a look at the platonic solids. These are the building blocks of the universe. Okay? The tetrahedron, look at it from the top down. It's a three-sided pyramidal shape. Man, what was I looking at that looks just like that? I think it was Mount Everest. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so look at Mount Everest. It's got three faces. It's like a giant tetrahedron. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. So, in the beginning, when the Earth was forming, it is my humble opinion that most of these forms that we see just formed as part of the Earth crystalline, as part of the Earth crystallizing and becoming what it is today, right? So, and you know, and even look, so I think I was looking at it somewhere. Here, is there another one? There's even other ones that are right next to it that have the same. So there's a bunch of them, right? So all of the mountains in that particular region were growing with three faces on them. So if you go look at it, you'll find other ones too. So, and this is also why a lot of these mountains have faces, because guess what? Crystals have faces too. All these platonic solids, they have faces. And all of these platonic solids are encoded into how crystals grow. And they're fractal. Right? They're super, super tiny and they're super, super big. So I think it is premature and maybe a little bit presumptuous to go around saying that everything is a tree. I just don't believe it. Trinity, that's a deep thought. Isn't ether a slurry in which we exist and grow? Yeah, man. Oh, I have a caller. Let's see. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, good morning, Karen.
A good rising.
Oh, good rising, however you want to say. I got two questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
First one is Sue Finelli. I was talking to her in Telegram, and she was asking if I knew where to find the Dr. Law video when he was singing for you last year.
I don't know.
And I can't find it.
I didn't record it. I don't know who has it. Maybe Brian live streamed it. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking for it. I can't find it. So, my next question, in regards to the crystals that you're talking about right now, I was talking to Zach about it, and he was saying how easy it is to grow bismuth. And I'm really, really interested in actually doing that. And I'm curious if you've ever done it.
We did it a little bit at Zach and Cammy's, but there you can look. There's tons of videos on it on YouTube. Just type in making bismuth crystals. The crystal collector's done it, and you can just get raw bismuth and you just put it in a pot and you melt it in a pot. Like seriously, that's the melting point for bismuth is so low, and so then you just let it cool down naturally. And the crystals will start forming. Those like pyramidal, like inverted pyramidal crystals will just form on their own through, the temperature change and then the cooling process.
Yeah, because Zach said it only takes a couple hours or something like that.
Oh, it's much faster than that.
Like really fast. Oh, really? Wow, okay.
Probably the longest time you spend, here, look at this. The longest time you spend is melting it down. And then, see, here's another one. This guy making bismuth crystals at home. So you get raw bismuth, and it won't show up for you. It'll show up for you in a few minutes on the screen. But you get raw bismuth. It just looks like that, and then you just put it in a pan, and it melts. Over time, it starts to turn into the liquid form because you're heating it up, and then you let it cool down on its own, right? Slowly. And then you'll see, like, on the surface, you can already see the little crystals are forming. Like, it goes really, really fast. Real fast.
Oh, that's raw bismuth.
Yeah,
okay.
It's raw bismuth, and then you heat it up and it just cools down, and then it makes those little square crystals. And if you don't like the way it came out, you just heat it up again and you try again. And you just keep doing it over and over and over again, because that's just how bismuth works.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by bismuth also because I was asking people if there's any such thing as a 90-degree angle, a true 90-degree angle in nature. And that's what Zach said. Yeah, bismuth.
Oh yeah, crystals all the time, and not even just bismuth. Pyrite grows in any crystal that grows in a cube is going to give you a 90-degree angle. In fact, geometry, sacred geometry is based off of things found in nature. These are all things that we found in nature. All these crystals, they grow like that, right?
Yeah, and it looks so cool too with all the colors in it.
Yes.
And I do have one last question for you real quick. I'm going to be in Vegas on Thursday, so I'm getting there a couple days early. And is there going to be any sort of like pre-get-together on Friday, like has happened in the past?
I don't know. I'm sure if there's enough people there, we can all figure something out. But like as far as me setting something up, no. I have enough to do.
All right.
But if somebody else wants to organize a get together on Friday, hey, have at it.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for taking my call, Karen. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in Vegas.
All right, cool. Thanks. So, yeah. and how fast these crystals form, I mean, that kind of gives you an idea that crystals don't necessarily need to take millions and millions of years. Now, do they all form as fast as bismuth crystals do when you heat it up and melt it down? No, that's like a really, that's, you know, that one's really quick. That's nothing, not all of them are like that, clearly. But they do grow. They do grow and they don't take millions of years. I mean, it can take millions of years. Just by going to the mines, like I described, where they just turn the soil over and over, and you get surface finds all the time. Like there's just constantly crystals forming all over the place. And there's really no way to tell how old one crystal is over another. This is its own creation and not base reality. Where do Christians go when they die? Come on, this seems this much. What are you talking about? So you gotta be there in person like myself. The Dr. Law Elvis video. Yes, Lavis. Yeah. Everything's a tree? No. Trees are trees. That's what I think. Trees are trees. Look, I just want to throw this out there because people are always telling me, Karen, you just need to watch more videos. Go watch this video. Go watch that video. You know, you guys think that I haven't been looking at this stuff? I've been looking. I have watched their videos. I've heard what they say. I've heard them pick up chunks of muscovite and proclaim, this is wood. No, it isn't, dude. It's muscovite. And actually, where is my... Let me go see if I gotta find those petrified wood pieces that I just got. Because when we all went to that crystal show the other day, I got these... I found this guy who had a table of a bunch of different types of petrified wood. And so I have the one piece of petrified wood that my friend sent me when I was initially talking about this stuff, which is right here. Okay. Let me see if I can find these other ones so we can compare them. Hold on. So let me get my handy dandy microscope camera out. Handy dandy microscope camera. And I want to show you what petrified wood looks like up front or up close. Is that? Yeah. Yay. Okay, microcam. Okay, so here we go. It's my initial piece of petrified wood that I got. Okay. Where you can still see sort of the general form of the wood, but it gets replaced, right? The wood decays and it gets replaced with the mineral because it is in a super saturated slurry. So actually I've got these other 3 types of petrified wood. I've got Arizona petrified wood from Navajo County. I've got petrified bogwood from Humboldt County in Nevada. And this piece right here, which is Yellowstone River petrified wood from Montana. So here is the first one. This is the piece from Montana. Petrified wood. What makes it black? Manganese. The mineral manganese will make it black. So what happens is these areas, they were underwater. Can you say biblical flood? See, I think a lot of this stuff is just, it's like it formed during the flood, and now there's like a multitude of stories that people have just made up over time over all the things that happened during the flood. This is just my opinion. So here is Yellowstone petrified wood from a river. So, and then you look at it up close. That is, you know, and it's tough now. Can you hear it? Right? Doesn't sound like wood. And it became crystallized, and now it is a rock that used to be wood. So yeah, wood can become petrified, okay? And the way that happens is because, like, you guys have all seen how when a tree falls down in the woods, it starts to rot, insects start to eat it, it dries out, decays away, whatever. Forest fires happen, blah, 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 right? So wood is a biodegradable material, and it doesn't really last very long when it's, you know, unfinished, untouched, out in the wilderness. So what has to happen is a very special, specific set of circumstances where the wood becomes immersed underwater, or under like a soot, or like a, you know, any sort of fluid, which most fluids will have at the base contain water, right? So it's any sort of, so the wood gets submerged underwater, and then it is, oxygen can't get to it, right? And there's no oxygen there. And then because it's underwater, if it's at the bottom, right, the pressure, because water is so dense, and we all know that as you go deeper underwater, the pressure increases. Okay, so you have a lack of oxygen and an increased pressure, and then as the wood, instead of decaying away, it becomes replaced by these other minerals that seep into it and become hardened, and then turn it into petrified wood. So here is a piece of petrified wood from Arizona. It's got these beautiful colors in it. And these colors are a result of different minerals being present in the slurry, right? And causing it to turn these beautiful colors. This is a tumbled piece. I found a guy that had some really cool tumbled pieces of petrified wood. So, and then there's a dark spot back here. So that's from, and this is Arizona. So this particular area, you know, had different minerals in it. So we have this one from the Yellowstone River, right? Riverbed, underwater, had different materials. Right? Not quite as colorful, but still really cool looking. I love this piece. And then this one in a completely different part of the country ended up with much different colors. Right? But it just depends on the local conditions of that area, right? So that's petrified wood. Those are two. And then there's this one, and I'm not 100% sure where this one came from. I think it's Indonesia, but this piece of petrified wood here just looks like this, and you can tell it's wood. You can see the side of the bark there, and it is crystal, right? And then I've got one more piece This is called, this guy, I guess this area, they called it petrified bogwood because it has this beautiful green color. So check this out. How the Arizona one is mostly red, right? So we have this one. This is from a different area. This is in Nevada. Oh, I wonder if it'll show up. And it looks different. It's got a lot of green in it. And really just very beautiful colors in it. So let's take a look at that. Look at that. Aww. So you can still see how the wood grain went and how you know, how the mineral slurry, you know, went in and replaced the wood. I wonder, I almost want to put a UV light on that. Where's my UV light? Hold on. It's not as cool under UV as I thought it would be. It looks good under that light though. Okay. And so that's how these are smaller pieces. I just got small pieces so I could put them under the microscope. And also I realized if I keep buying the biggest of everything I find, I'm going to run out of room real quick. And hauling rocks around is not easy. So anyway, that's an up close look at what petrified wood looks like. Okay. Now I don't have a piece of Devil's Tower here. I wish I did. I said, we got all this petrified wood. Now I need a piece of Devil's Tower so that we could compare it. All I can do is look at pictures online that people post of Devil's Tower basalt, which is a very specific type of basalt, which is called faunolite porphyry. But if you look up faunolite porphyry, it looks nothing like what we just looked at. So actually, let me just... So this is faunolite porphyry. See how Devil's Tower is coming up? Is because there's different types of basalt, and this is the type of basalt that is at Devil's Tower. Oh, come on. Come on, Mindat. Come on. So while I am not able to have a piece of oh, I have to turn this off so you can see what I'm looking at. So without having a piece of the Devil's Tower, so here I searched up, you can see where I searched up faunolite porphyry right here up in the top there, faunolite porphyry, and this is what comes up, Devil's Tower, because that is the type of basalt that is at Devil's Tower. Now when you look at faunolite porphyry up close, it looks like this. It almost looks more like a granite. It's like a conglomerate, and it's got pieces of this faunolite that have crystallized inside of it. And also faunolite has a hexagonal crystal system, or it grows in a hexagon. It grows in hexagons. So the hexagonal columnar jointing that is in the basalt it's sort of written into the type of crystal that is in the tree. Devil's Tower faunolite here. Devil's Tower faunolite. That's what it is. Okay? Almost looks like concrete. This is not a tree, in my opinion. Okay, this is why I don't think it's a tree. Now, the way it formed, it kind of looks like it, but also, you know, crystals grow that way. Let's see. Let's look up crystal growing habits. So what we'd be looking at, so prismatic, right? Columns growing in a straight line. So let's see, what one do I know grows like that? So like black tourmaline. See all these different ways that crystals grow, and these are natural formations. Here we go. tetragonal, hexagonal. This is the Devil's Tower, right? And look at these. Cubic, octahedral. What does that look like? Oh, the platonic solids, right? They're showing up again. Except this doesn't say anything about platonic solid. It's talking about crystal systems. Why? Because the platonic solids are the base building blocks for the realm. And everything that man does is just to imitate them. That's how we learned to build. We copied the creation. Is petrified wood expensive? Some of it, well, not really. Like these pieces, I just got these, like I just wanted to get samples of different types of petrified wood, right? So when I went and they have a little card, oh, whoops, this card's, you know, he's got little cards where they were found, right? Yellowstone River, petrified wood. So I'm just gonna keep them like this. So they always have the label of where they came from. This one, petrified bogwood, Humboldt County, Nevada. Okay. And these were like $5 or $6, between like $5 to $8 a piece. It just depends, you know. Navajo County, Arizona, right? So that is kind of how I came to that conclusion. I feel like, you know, I get a lot of criticism, I think, for looking at stuff like that, like so logically. But how else are we supposed to look at stuff? That's how I looked at flat earth when I woke up to flat earth. So why shouldn't we look at everything else with the same criticism? Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Oh, hi, Karen. I just noticed that every single time we talk about crystals, or you start talking in a downward direction.
What do you mean a downward direction? Can you, what do you mean by that?
The crystal structure is the earth. The crystals grow beneath the earth really well. Every single time we're talking about crystals, it's all has to do with earth.
Mm-hmm.
And if heaven and earth were in the slurry, then maybe you could see how I get my idea that heaven is down and they're trying to lie to you about going up. But the other thing that
I just don't think it's like a physical place. I just don't agree that heaven is a physical place, or at least not in this physical world. Or in the scripture, heaven just is talking about the space above earth.
Okay, really?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of saw that if it was a crystalline structure, that it was all, well, at least maybe you could see how I get my idea that it can be down. But the other thing is that, have you noticed that when you start forming crystals in a pan, it takes up the whole pan, or it takes up the whole surface that you put it in, which is why I think that they're trying to divert everybody's attention towards Argentina and start looking for the ice walls there, which is in the exact opposite direction of, like I said, there's a whole pile of ocean in the Pacific, and if you were building a crystalline structure, then there wouldn't be that big a space in the Pacific Ocean of nothing but water, which is where they're probably hiding their own little land that they have as maybe like a resort for themselves.
I mean, it is possible that they're hiding land. We've already all kind of said that.
Yeah, and they're sending everybody's attention towards Argentina and the ice walls there, when all the land is on the exact opposite side, which is basically one way to look at how, you know, the elites are trying to steer everybody's mind towards the opposite side of where they're hiding their land. And there's a whole lot of commercials or a whole lot of evidence pointing towards that they have hidden land somewhere Just they're not talking about it. Everybody keeps thinking it's past Antarctica, but it could be as close as in the Pacific Ocean. Just nobody's. Just I imagine it would be nice if we could set up a cruise towards that way and see if you find any military ships popping up telling you we don't want you to go any further forward, because there's absolutely no restrictions to what you can do in the Pacific Ocean. You can take all the fuel you want, you can take all the food you want with you, so you can make it as long a trip as you want, is what I'm thinking. And the other thing, as far as like that I did to speed people's thought process towards the straw man, which is a little bit off topic for this, but I made a video that explains how you can basically make your credit cards free in a few months.
I don't want to talk about that, dude. I don't want to go off topic. I'm talking about something specific. I'm sorry. I can't do that right now. Anyway, I saw a question. What was the question that I want to go back to? Not a simulation. I agree. Sorry, I disagree, Brian. What are you guys talking about? Metals are crystalline, so is granite, etc. In nature, it is rare for a solid not to be crystalline. Right. Primary waters is the soup. Well, I'm not saying, I don't know, primary waters, that's a different term, I guess, but I'm saying like when the evolutionary story tells you, primordial soup, they tell you, oh, you came from a primordial soup. Well, I think that maybe the realm came from the primordial soup. Maybe it really did. It started in a super saturated crystalline slurry. That's the primordial soup from which the earth formed, the lands formed, But where was the question? I had one as big as the size of 11 shoebox. Meteorite? Yeah, okay, so do you have any thoughts on the rock formation's origin, if not frozen tree tectonic flow from below? I think that's what I'm saying. I think, it could be formed different ways. Now there is the whole thing with lava and flow and basalt comes out of those fissures, right? And it starts to kind of form more lands and stuff. I don't, that's a different topic, but I don't think that all formed that way. I think it started from like how I described, the supersaturated crystalline slurry. This place is fake AF. What are you going all black-pilled about, MFT? We should have bought the lodestone. I know, Cammy. I got distracted by shiny objects. And I regret not buying the lodestone. The lodestones were cool. They were little octahedrons that were lodestones. They were cool. We should have got some. If we see them again, we have to make sure we get some. Don't let me not leave without those again. Oh yes, the Schumann resonance. I was going to talk about that too. We can talk about that too, you guys, if you want. I just really wanted to kind of go over, and I think I'm going to put together a more formal presentation about this. I mean, I know it's kind of disjointed, and I kind of at the last minute decided to talk about that. But I just wanted to put that out there because I feel like everybody tells me to go watch the giant tree videos. Well, why don't you guys go watch crystal videos? Why don't you guys listen to my side for once about the crystal, about how the crystals could have formed on a massive scale in the beginning? I mean, the pillars of the earth could be giant crystalline pillars and probably most likely are. Why don't you guys go to, let's see, Cave Explorer. I mean, there's these guys, they go into these caves that they find. I mean, there's videos, look at it, look them up on YouTube, cave explorers, and you'll find these guys, they find these little teeny tiny holes in the rocks, and they go down there on a rope, and they start going deep, and these caverns open up underneath the mountain with these giant calcite pillars and sheets of crystalline material absolutely everywhere. Okay? So, and how is it inside there? It is moist. There's lots of water, right? So, like, look at this stuff. I mean, it is not outside of the realm of possibility. Let's just put it that way. And in actuality, to me, it makes perfect sense. That, like, the pillars of the earth of which that you talk about are literally crystalline pillars, giant crystalline pillars that are holding up the continents. I mean, what else could it be? Rocks are crystals. Crystals are rocks. They're everywhere. Clearly, we can see them everywhere. We climb on them. We carve into them. We grind them up and separate their parts out and use them for technology all the time. In the most literal way, in every way I can think about, rocks are literally the building block of this realm. So in my opinion, it is the base. It is the base of the physical thing that we actually walk upon. And trees do serve a purpose. Trees are part of this realm, but it just doesn't make sense that they were ever that big. You know, they were bigger. Maybe we have giant trees that were on top of some of these mountaintops, or giant trees, you know, like I was saying with the red cedars, like those to me are pretty freaking big trees, okay? And you can very easily imagine that there could have been these big trees pre-flood, okay? That's also called antediluvian. So pre-flood, big trees, and then the earth is flooded, completely covered in water again, and is now mixed up again. Now we have another super saturated, slurry sort of situation going on here, right? Where these trees are now submerged under the flood. And if you look at how long, at the time frame of the flood, we're talking years, many years. So entirely long enough before the floodwaters finally receded and went back. Plenty of time for a number of these trees to become petrified, for the material to be replaced by the minerals, and for them to become crystallized, i.e. the petrified forest in Arizona. Maybe some of these trees, and these, I don't even know if they are trees or not in Colorado. People say they look like trees. You know, they could be, some of it looks like trees, some of it just looks like rocks to me. But it is entirely possible that some of these larger trees at that time during the flood became petrified and and of course, and that would be a motivation for them to be lied about, because if you say, oh yes, these are giant trees and they were petrified, well, up on a mountaintop, well, that's backing up the biblical flood story, and it sort of starts to take people down that rabbit hole of debunking the evolution and the heliocentric model. So of course there is still a motivation to lie for it. But do the trees have to be of the scale where they are miles and miles tall? No, I just don't think so. Did the trees make the gold? No, I just don't think so. That's just part of how crystals form. Gold is a crystalline material. I think part of the lie with gold too is the scarcity of it. I don't think it's as scarce as they say it is. I mean, I think they probably know where lots of gold is, and they know exactly what minerals grow with gold, and there is no scarcity. The scarcity of probably anything is the biggest lie that we get told about anything on this earth. And I feel like if you really start to study the earth and how it works, and you know that it's always the earth literally is alive, and things are always, the rocks are growing on a much smaller scale than at the time of creation, because the other part about, crystals and rocks and stuff is they will only grow or continue to grow so long as the conditions are correct and the material is there for them to grow with, right? So the initial earth is formed. We have our giant rock formations, which are various mountain ranges across the plain. They all have different looks and different shapes. You can even, some of these mountain ranges, you can even recognize them just by sight because they are so unique looking. That has to do with the mineral content that is in these rocks that are in these mountains and how that had to dictate the form that they took when they grew. So that's why it's different all over the place. Now these tabletop mountains, absolutely. Those can be crystalline growths too. Why? Because crystals naturally form themselves in that pattern. Look at tourmaline. Right? So tourmaline is a crystal that grows in a natural pillar form and naturally terminates to a flat surface on the very top. Right? Black tourmaline, does it? It will terminate to almost a flat surface, different types. But a lot of times you can find, that in other types of crystals too that are lesser known that grow and then they terminate to almost a flat surface on the top. So just the same way that, almost like the Devil's Tower, how the thing with Devil's Tower though is I'm not sure how that formed. That thing is kind of a mystery. I have to say, even looking into crystals and how they grow and looking at the mainstream version and sort of examining it, the Devil's Tower is kind of a fucking mystery. I have to admit that's a weird one. But the hexagonal columnar jointing of it, seems to be consistent in a few different places. They all say it formed from lava, and basalt does come out of these fissures in a hot lava form, So could they have been part of like the initial pressure system, or like when the Earth was initially being established, right? Like here's how I think about it too. Anybody who's had a fish tank, are there people in here who've had a fish tank? When you get a brand new fish tank, okay, a brand new saltwater or freshwater, doesn't really matter. When you have a brand new fish tank, you can't put everything in it with the fish right away. You have to get the ecosystem going. You see what I'm saying? Like, so before, when you put your fish in your fish tank, you have to put the living rock in there. You have to run the filter. You can put, you put like snails in there, anemones in there, whatever. You have to put other things in there, plant life, right? You put maybe you put some plant life in there, and you have to establish a biome within your ecosystem, right? So how I picture is the land forms, right? And then you have a period of time where, okay, now you have this brand new tank, whatever you want to call it, enclosed world on a massive scale. And now you need to start regulating the biome. You need to kickstart the cycle inside, right? So maybe those things were part of like the initial pressurization system, the initial introduction of CO2, oxygen, whatever, all these different gases and stuff that are in our air that promote that sustain life here, right? I don't know, maybe you could call that ether, whatever you want to call it, but you have to kickstart the biome of your system, and then once you've had it established and it looks to be okay, then you can go get your expensive fish and you can put them in the tank and they'll be fine. Does that make sense? Prime the tank. Yes, you got to prime it. So there are big trees in the... We still have big trees. This is my question. What constitute a giant tree? We still have big trees. I'm not saying we don't have giant trees. I think we did have giant trees, and I think we still have giant trees. And I just don't understand, I'm not even arguing about that. I just don't think that they grew to be miles and miles tall. Is this a giant tree? Does this count as a giant tree? If you were standing next to that tree, would you feel like that was a giant tree that it was so big you couldn't even come close to putting your arms around it or even see around it? So big you can drive your car through it? You're so tall you can't even see the top of it? Is that not a giant fucking tree? So that's what I want to know. So the crystals don't necessarily have to be sustained, you know, by something under it or stuff around it like a tree does, right? The minerals, the building blocks are the literal foundation of everything, right? That's what everything is. What everything sort of happens on. You know? Moving huge chunks of tree is difficult. Usually, nope, not even close. Yeah? Crystals do grow. How can you say crystals don't grow? You're a fucking liar, dude. You're a liar. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna sit here and try to say that crystals don't grow, you're literally a liar. You're a liar. I just sat here and showed a bunch of video of how crystals grow. Are you late to the party? Are you late to the party? I think you are. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen B. Tony Coriolis.
Hey. What's up?
Hey. So just that little tidbit right there on how the guy said that crystals don't grow or whatever. Is it like, so they do grow when they're like naturally forming and everything, but then like I have a little like if I have a little crystal in my hand, like it's not currently in a state of growing or anything, right?
Right. Most likely no, because it's no longer in its prime conditions for growth. So it will stop.
But when they are naturally forming, yeah, they grow.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yes.
I gotcha. Okay, so is quartz a crystal? Yeah?
Yep. Yes, it is. The most common crystal on Earth. The most common.
Okay, so I know back in my community college days, you know, Scottsdale Community College, I did a public speaking class, and we could talk about, like, whatever. So one of my subjects that I did was, like, you had to do, like, an informative presentation public speaking thing. So I did, like, how to find gold. And then, like, upon my, you know, minimal research, you know, whatever they say, you find gold in quartz or whatever.
Yep.
And then what do you know? It's the most common crystal out there. But so I've known that they said, like, you find it in quartz. So just me hiking around in Arizona, whatever, I'd always, like, you know, look at a little area of quartz and just kind of, oh, you know, let me take this chunk and break it up, see if there's anything hidden within. That was just a little thing I did in my past, okay? So then I know there's this place out here called Sycamore Creek that a lot of people go camping at. They do like a big desert party out there after Christmas. Everyone burns like all the Christmas trees. It's like the biggest fire ever, big desert party. And then within Sycamore Creek, it's like a huge wash thing that like no water's really running, like a little bit, but I mean, it was like, I guess, a big river or something. I don't know, Sycamore Wash in Arizona off Highway 87. There's a big rose quartz thing, like people can drive like their car up and onto, and it's such a big hunk of this rose quartz that like it's the pinkish hue, you know, and it's just in the middle of it. It's like out of nowhere, you know, just a huge hunk of rose quartz. So then if I like would ask my teacher, they'd just say like, oh, I got no idea how that ended up there. What would your statement be on how something like that could have ended up in like the middle of a wash, you know? Huge hunk of rose quartz, big enough you can drive up onto.
I would say that it formed there. It grew there.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I don't know whatever was there before, you know. And then what you're saying about how big can a tree be? I know I go to my spot, Geisela, Arizona, down by the creek there. I've seen some of the biggest trees like ever. And like to make a, like, so then, okay, I see a big tree down by Geisela. It's a monster, okay? It has a branch growing out of it that looks like another tree growing out of it. Like, it's so big. And then I go up out of town to Payson. It's like the next town north of Geisela. And then I go to a diner out there called Crosswinds. And then if you look out from Crosswinds, you just see like a big canyon. It's huge. It's right by the airport there. And it's just flat, you know? So then what's for me not to say, like, that was a big tree that they cut, you know, just until I see flat, you know? Like, how far is everyone really going to take this, you know? This whole thought on, oh, it's a monster tree, dude. How did you not know, you know? But I don't know. How big could a tree really be?
I think it would have to depend on the environment there to support it. And I just don't see how our environment could support a tree that big. Like gigantic, like Titanic size. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we all saw that one video. There are no forests, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hated that.
Yeah,
video.
and I mean, that was one of my early ones that I saw. So yeah, it definitely captivated my mind. But I mean, got to stay back in reality, you know.
Yeah, I just, you know, I've kind of always been out on that video, but I just wanted to, I feel like I just want to show people that there's another, it could be a different way, you know, and I think it's premature for people to get married to such, you know, a fantastical idea.
I love just knowing that I have questions. I mean, even if I meet people and they're just coming at me with, oh man, this is the way to live, like, so, okay, there's one dude who, like, said, like, oh, no, don't eat any bread. Like, dude, I'm going to have a cheesesteak tomorrow, man. Like, I mean, why do you think you got it so right, you know? And I don't preach anything to people, you know? It's just, I take people not at their word a lot. Just, it's so simple to be, you know, just digging something and trying to push it on someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own thoughts, you know?
Absolutely.
But the whole tree thing, and then people try to tell me, like, oh no, dude, the alien thing's really gonna happen soon. You gotta, like, you know, change everything that you're doing. Like, no, dude, I'm doing my own thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, me too.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, I've only watched half of your little talk about Vegas that you did the other day, Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was out of town, so I don't really have good phone service. Otherwise, I would have called in or something. But yeah, I've been watching some videos on Samstown. Looks really cool. I'm super excited.
Yeah, right
I already
on.
bought my ticket yet to get my hotel. Hotel's not all super booked. Like, shit, dude, make a move, get your room.
Yeah.
Or what's the word?
No, well, as far as I know, they have openings still, so... And there's a hotel room block on my webpage. If you go there, there's a link to the room block for the event. 11/11.
Yeah. Oh. And then one guy from our group already did it. So I was like, hey, dude, like, how much do I got to put down? And he said, like, yeah, just like, you know, like not even 200 or whatever it is, just one night's worth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to make my move my next paycheck.
All right.
Just making sure I wasn't missing an opportunity.
No, I think you're still good. Most people will do stuff like in the last like month or two. So if you get it done before that, I don't think you have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm going to be good. And then, so I know I'm going out, so I got the 10/20 birthday, so I'm going out right before, so it's going to be like my birthday out there and then Flattober.
Mm-hmm. Wait, when's your birthday?
And then I'm going to try to go 10/20.
Oh, so it's right before.
Yeah, right before.
Cool.
And then the dude that already booked his room, his birthday is at the 21st, so.
Oh, nice. So you guys are going to have a party.
Yeah, he's really excited too. Oh, I know. But so, okay, this is coffee talk, and you said you'll have teas sometimes too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The best tea I ever had was out in Vegas. It was at Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen. You know of that restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on their dessert menu, they had teas. So I got one tea, and it was like a flower bud that was not bloomed yet. And then they like poured it, they put it in like a glass pot with hot water, and then like it bloomed, and then when it bloomed, then you could have the tea. You ever heard of a tea like that?
No.
I know, neither had I, and I haven't seen it anywhere else, but in Hell's Kitchen they had it.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hopefully get that on 10/20 and then be ready to go the next day.
All right. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for taking my call, Karen B. I got the day off since our glorious president made this holiday.
Oh, all right. Awesome. What's the holiday today?
Yeah. Today's a Juneteenth day.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, thanks for calling.
Yeah, peace out. I'm going to be in the audience.
All right, cool.
Later.
Oh, that's so funny. I think I saw where people that were like there was a bunch of black people celebrating Juneteenth, and then they got in a riot and somebody died and a bunch of people got injured. Lord. At least that was on Twitter. I don't know if it's real or not. Anyway. That's too funny. Coffee and steak. Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, they are pushing the aliens hard. Still waiting for someone to logically address Dell's conclusions and rebut? I'm sorry, dude. Nothing that Dell said has made me think that the Earth is moving. He's sitting there jerking a bottle around with liquid in it to try to say that the Earth is moving. It's ridiculous to me. I'm sorry, but it is. Gotta work on Juneteenth as a black man. That's messed up. The blooming tea it ties when open brews. It opens up like a green tea kind. Huh? I don't know. It sounds good, but I don't know. I've never had it. Yeah. A lot of them just adopt other people's thoughts. This is true. This is true. So, without the need for there to be giant trees because crystals are fractal and rocks are crystals and mountains are rocks, therefore, could logically, plausibly, most likely just be crystalline formations from the formation of the Earth. There is no need for the globy theory of a vapor canopy to make up different fantasy stories to support your giant tree theory. That was one thing that got me. Everybody starts talking about this vapor canopy thing again. Do you guys know what the vapor canopy is? I was looking up. I was like, what is this vapor canopy shit again? Oh, by the way, here's the Schumann resonance that everybody's freaking out about. Supposedly, this is a glitch in the what do you call it? In the equipment reading the signal. So supposedly this is a glitch. I don't know. Wait. Frequency, amplitude. So, anyway, it doesn't really say on the site that that's a glitch. Let's see if it talks about it on this link. What is this link? Oh, this is fucking Cyrillic. Can we translate this to English? Hold on. English. Electromagnetic background level. Yes, English, please. Translate this page. Here we go. Local time dependence of electromagnetic background level in the range up to 30 megahertz in decibels. Amplitude intensity grades are presented to the right of the graph. Da, 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 da. It's already gone past that other part where it looked all weird. I know, some crazy action going on there. I don't really know what any of this stuff means, man. What does it mean? Amplitudes. Yeah, it doesn't really say what's going on with this weird pattern that's showing up there, but supposedly it's a glitch. I don't know. Does anybody know? Anybody heard anything about that other than, oh, look at the weird pattern? Trees don't have this straight edge formation as mountains. I don't think they seem to more blossom outwards. I agree. I haven't figured out yet if Dell is being intellectually dishonest to himself or just others. Yeah, we're under indentured servitude. No way could we live in a moving earth. I mean, I feel like we already went through, is the earth moving or not? And we've already everybody kind of already agrees that it's not. So I don't know if I really even want to go there right now. Can he really be that thick? I'm going to plant a cherry tree and 3 apple trees. That sounds really cool, Billingtono. Alright. Well, my phones are open. 848-222-2480. What time is it? 11:21? Okay, I still got a little time left. So, what else? What else can we talk about? Does anybody have any more questions or comments regarding the giant tree hesitancy? Giant tree hesitancy? I don't think this really happened. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think the tree is an allegory. I think it's an allegory. You know, it's sort of a clue to the whole, you know, the toroid field, the as above, so below. I don't think that there were really trees that were miles tall. I don't think that ever happened. So you know, so here's some tabletop mountains. You see, giant columnar crystal formations, right? I mean, if I show you that and I show you crystal let's see. what word am I trying to use to bring up the images that I need to bring? Prismatic. We'll just go back to these giant crystals. Giant crystals. Face dehydration. Oh. Anyway, so we have these giant crystals, right? I like to look at tourmaline because tourmaline really gives that same shape. All the different tourmalines, black tourmaline. So here. So here's a black tourmaline. The top is not completely flat, but there it grows in the pillar form. Terminating to a near flat top. Sometimes a completely flat top. Right? They just stop growing on their own in a flat top, right? So this is what I'm seeing here. You know? And you can even see the different layers. Look in a crystal, you see the different layers. And then the tabletop mountain, it has different layers, right? And waterfalls coming out of it. I mean, that's so cool. Like this one here. Looks very similar, right? So to me, they look to me just like giant crystalline formations, just like what they are. This is fake. That's a CGI picture, I think. You know, you see the different layers. And then over time, you can see organic matter has built up along the edge of it, along the bottom, you know. And we live in a dynamic system. You know, we've got organic material, landscapes changing, but the base, the foundation of it remains the same. Like, oh, here's a good one. Look at this one. This looks just like a piece of tourmaline stuck in the ground. Whoops. You know, with grass on top of it. Something like that. Right here. Here's a nice piece. There. That looks polished on top. Here we go. Big flat top, column, crystal. I mean, you know, so I find that to be a much more likely explanation for these things that we're seeing here, you know. I mean, this is just what I see. I see a giant version of crystals growing in a sort of columnar fashion. And I think they're in different shapes, all the different crystal habit shapes. Like you'll see different mountains that sort of mimic these different crystal habit shapes too. You'll see it. Like I said, right? So we've got pyramidal mountains, right? Tetrahedral over here, you know, botryoidal. So like if you look at like things like Half Dome in Yosemite, where it's got that round shape, like crystals grow in a radial form, and they actually grow in a spiral too. That was another thing I wanted to bring up. Actually, let me bring that up right now. The way crystals grow. I have a whole PDF that talks about it. Let me open it. Here we go. Crystal growth for beginners, fundamental of nucleation, crystal growth, epitaxy. Okay. So I guess this is you've got this starting point here. And it's just showing you the angles, the sacred geometry, the equilibrium, and the crystal shape. They've studied this for a long time, you guys. They know how this stuff works. Probably you can study the work of all these guys. Is this just going to have pictures of dudes? This is the growth of silicate. Here we go. Here's the one that shows it growing in a spiral, right? So this is also I love this little diagram here because this shows you. So when people say So when people say, oh, well, it looks like it has rings. The mountain looks like it has rings just like a tree. Well, dude, crystals grow in a spiral pattern and they also grow radially. So it is entirely possible, and it is known and observed to see a ring pattern inside of crystals, a ring pattern of growth, a spiral growth, okay? Because it all follows the sacred geometry, right? It all follows the golden ratio, the golden spiral, the vortex, the toroidal vortex that drives life, right? There's petrified wood on the moon. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hi, Karen. This is Lloyd. I want to thank you and Mark Sargent for all you're doing. I really appreciate it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
All this stuff about mountains and trees and stuff like that. I went through all that stuff probably about 30, 40 years ago, and it's complete nonsense as far as I can tell. It's just an emotional grasp for their reality. But my thing is food. You were talking about pork or beef. You're into eating beef. We ate beef. I'm from the Midwest, from Southern Illinois, and we butchered hogs every year, you know. But the only time we ate beef, well, we did get like hamburger once a week. There were 10 of us. But the only time we really ate beef in massive amounts is if lightning would hit one of the milk cows, you know. But here's the story. One of my oldest friends married an Israeli violin teacher. She was my first violin teacher. I was about 30 years old. And for the first week they were married, all she made was pork chops and pork steaks. And my buddy finally, after a week, he asked her, well, do you know how to make anything besides pork chops? And she said, well, you know, they're so expensive in Tel Aviv. They're so inexpensive here. And I just thought that was hilarious. But, I mean, we've fed our pigs a truckload of coal every spring to deworm them. I have to admit, pigs will eat anything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them eat snakes and other good things. But I think that pork is probably the closest thing to us as far as meat. And I find pork just absolutely delicious, and I've got no adverse effects from it. I mean, physiologically, I think I'm probably 20 years younger than I'm supposed to be. And it's just, I don't know. It just, I don't see where there's, I think it's counterintuitive. A lot of things are counterintuitive. And I think preferring beef over pork is just brainwashing. But that's just my opinion.
Oh, okay.
But thank you so much. Thank you so much for having the show.
Right on. Well, I appreciate you calling.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye now.
Bye. I mean, it could be brainwashing. But I don't know. I just don't. That may change. I mean, it could change at some point, but for now I just don't eat I don't eat pork anymore. I really like beef, and chicken and fish. Did anyone else think that star forks would be a growth like a crystal or a diatom or a crustacean? Earthica star. Star forts, I don't know that star forts would be a natural formation. I think they're man-made, but I think that man gets the idea of building a star fort from observing nature, from these crystalline structures that we observe in nature. All of these angles they're all of the creation. So I don't necessarily think that they are a growth, although I mean I guess it could be. I think pyramids are definitely not the Giza pyramids. I think a man made pyramids to imitate pyramids that they found in nature. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what's going on here. So the pyramid mountains that people are like, oh my gosh, it's such a perfect pyramid. It has to be like from an ancient civilization. It's aliens. No, it doesn't, dude. It's not. It could be a totally natural formation on the surface of the earth. And I think that I have provided sufficient evidence for that to be a very viable, plausible possibility. Okay. So then the other thing too, so here's a couple of PDFs that I had found that talk about the basic idea of the crystal growth, how you start at a seeding point and they sort of, it starts to build up around, from the center, whatever point that it starts at, and it builds around it and then just gets exponentially bigger. And you can see the fractal nature of the growth of the crystal, right? Because it starts small and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, holding the same form throughout the growth. So that is exhibiting the fractalization, the fractal growth of crystals, right? Methods of obtaining crystals. Crystallization. Obtaining crystals by making a saturated solution of material and then by filtration to allow to precipitate crystals. Evaporation, right? Solve crystals powdered form into solvent and boil solution slightly less than solvent's boiling point and then allow solvent to evaporate. So heating up, pressure, heat and temperature and pressure are coefficients to creating these crystals. Like I was saying, like I was describing in those giant selenite caves in Mexico, it's extremely hot and humid in those caves, right? So there's some sort of, what's making it hot, and it's being deep underground. I mean, I don't know, the magma chambers, there's some sort of some sort of system, obviously under the earth, that generates heat and creates magma, and then eventually, every once in a while, it like releases pressure by poking holes in the surface and spewing out lava rock, right? Like I don't really know how else to describe that. I couldn't tell you exactly what it is or what it does, but that's just what it seems to me. It seems to me that a lot of these volcanoes and pressure valve, to me, I feel like it's the pressurization regulation system that kind of keeps this realm in the happy medium, in the Goldilocks zone, right? That's another term from the globalists that they use to describe where Earth is, right, as compared to the sun. Like Earth is in the Goldilocks zone, right? Because it's not too far from the sun and it's not too close so that it gets too hot. It's just right, right? It just happens to be just right. Well, what I think the Goldilocks zone is where we are at in this physical realm, like our level, right? So if you go too high up in the realm, you lose pressure. It's low pressure, right? And you can't breathe. You can't function. It's too cold. The conditions are not ideal for sustaining life, right? And if you go low, if you go down, like if you go down in the ocean, you get high pressure, right? The pressure is too high. It is too compressed. You can't breathe. You can't function. You cannot live, right? But here at sea level, it's just right, right? It's perfect. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. We can breathe. You know, we have air pressure. Our lungs fill with air. We are able to sustain life here in our Goldilocks zone. See, so I think that they use these terms to try to hijack them, to try to make you like, you know, to believe their heliocentric bullshit story by touching on those little points that sort of hit that little truth bell, that truth sensor. You're like, oh, that sounds right, right? Because deep down, you know, your subconscious, your heart field, right, is always uploading and downloading information from the ether, right? So it's picking up where those little pieces of truth, because ultimately, isn't that what we all want? We're all looking for truth. And you know, your subconscious wants that too. Your soul wants it. Your energy wants that truth. So it's going to grasp onto that little bit of truth that you get, even if it's bathed in fucking lies. And so that's what we're doing here. We're just trying to strip that truth out from those lies, right? So slow cooling. So the crystal, the supersaturated slurry is warmed up and then it cools down slowly and the water evaporates and then the crystals start to grow because of evaporation, right? Dislocation. I have to read more about this. Theory of dislocation controlled crystal growth identifies a continuous spiral step with an emergent lattice displacement on a crystal surface. A mechanistic corollary is that closely spaced oppositely winding spirals merge to form concentric loops. And this is how the crystals grow. In situ, atomic force microscopy of step propagation on pathological L-cysteine crystals did indeed show spirals and islands with step heights of one lattice displacement. So the crystals literally grow in a spiral formation, a ring formation. So, you know, if you see rings in these mountains, it's not because it's a tree. It's because crystals actually grow that way, you guys. They form rings all the time. They have growth patterns and they form rings. We show by analysis of the rates of growth of smaller steps only one molecule high that the majority morphological spirals and loops are actually consequences of the bunching of smaller steps. Okay? So you can see, I mean, look at it. It's showing you, oh, look, the crystals grow all by themselves following the golden spiral. Right? Antarctica doesn't even look right. They do coexist. Nature creates, we simulate what we see and refine. And perfectly still, the stillness is important if you want perfect crystals. It's rare in nature. Yes. Yes, it is rare. Those beautiful little gemmy perfection. This is why everybody, you know, people try so hard and they go get dirty and they dig for them. Because finding them like this, you know, your perfect specimens, this is rare. Well, not this particular clear quartz. Clear quartz, like I said, is the most common crystal literally on Earth. So here's a pretty, but you know, to find them in terminated points. So here's clear quartz, and you know what? This is also clear quartz that I found in my creek. Same thing. But this one had much better growing conditions, and it was able to form a beautiful terminated crystal with a nice point on top and very clear. And this one is kind of a mess, but it is still clear quartz, just the same. Just the same. By the way, where's my laser? I have to show you guys something trippy that I learned with crystals. And Cami, you know, there's some really trippy things with refraction and crystals. I was looking at some stuff on Mindat, and there's a crystal where if you look at it a certain way, everything is blurry. And then the rest of the crystal will be clear and the inside is blurry. It looks like a Photoshop. It looks like it's Photoshop, but that's literally how the light refracts from inside the crystal. It makes it blurry when it hits your eye. It's the trippiest thing I ever seen. Cami, do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen this? Because it trips me out. Crystals can grow from a gas without ever entering liquid form when the pressure and temperature are just right, just like ice in the freezer. Exactly, Zach! So like, this is what meteorites could be. Because if you think about it, like we're talking about it, you know, way up in the upper atmosphere where gases that go up or any sort of gas that goes up could be carrying any sort of thing with it, right? There could be gases that congeal and crystallize into a solid form way up in the atmosphere. And then when they crystallize, they become heavy and then become attracted through the downward acceleration. They become too dense to be up there anymore and they fall and boom, that's a meteorite. I mean, it really blows my mind how many questions, you know, how many plausible answers to a lot of these mysterious questions that we have that can be answered by studying crystals and crystal properties, you guys. I'm telling you. The trees are a distraction from the crystals, and I don't care what people say about me for saying that. I'm like 100% convinced. Okay, so just look at these. They study it. So here in the hexagonal pattern, you see them growing, right? Crystal surface multiply with the difference of, what is that? I don't know what this measurement is. A micrometer or whatever. Spiral rings are formed during crystallization process. And now remember, they're studying this on a very tiny scale, but crystals are fractal. They are fractal. They will grow the same way, large or small. They just have to have the correct conditions and enough material for them to form. It's all the same. Most important change that one can easily observe in growth of crystals is the process of growth stops after a certain size of a crystal is obtained in pure materials without any kind of dislocation. While in the presence of dislocation, a crystal continue to grow until we stop this process. So it says it will continue to grow until as long as it has the pure materials. In the presence of dislocation, the size and the shape of crystals different for the same materials under the same set of conditions. Both size and shape now only depends on dislocations, number of dislocations, the extent of dislocation. Bigger sizing crystals can be obtained by adding dislocation and have different properties than crystals without dislocation. Oh. So it's like are they calling dislocation? That's how they're describing the spiral growth pattern. So crystals that grow in a spiral growth pattern will have different properties than crystals that don't. Is that what I'm getting from this? That govern the strength of structural alloys, influence crystal growth, and can be detrimental to the performance of semiconductor devices. Interesting. So crystal structure. I haven't looked through all these PDFs. I downloaded most of them, but it tells you, okay? So solids, they have the highly organized lattice structure. Liquids and gases do not. They're amorphous. They're fluid, right? So part of the crystalline process is to form an organized lattice structure. Solids are classified in two categories. Crystalline solids, the solids in which atoms or molecules are arranged in a regular and orderly manner in three-dimensional pattern, are called crystalline solids. These solids have directional properties and are called anisotropic substances, metallic gold, silver, aluminum, blah, blah, blah. And then there's amorphous solids. This is like your amber, your petrified sap, that sort of stuff. That will be amorphous. That's like a big tell, right? This is why you know that quartz is not sap. Amorphous solids, the atoms or molecules are arranged in an irregular manner, i.e. there is no lattice structure. These solids have no directional properties and are called isotropic substances. Glass, plastic, rubber, etc. So glass, so your glass types of things like obsidian, these are amorphous solids. They don't have the organized lattice structure. Okay, so here's the differences. Molecules have regular periodic arrangements for crystalline solids. They exhibit different magnitudes of physical properties in different directions. Anisotropic in nature. They exhibit different directional properties. They have sharp melting points. Crystal breaks along regular crystal planes, and hence the crystal pieces have a regular shape. And you see they list metals here that are part of crystalline solids. Amorphous solids are not arranged in a regular periodic matter. They have random arrangement. They exhibit same magnitudes of physical properties in different directions. Isotropic in nature. Isotropic versus anisotropic. So like anisotropic is where you can rotate the crystal in a different direction and it will augment light. I guess that's a good way to describe it. Cami, if I'm wrong, correct me. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B. Sorry, I didn't see you sitting there for so long.
That's okay. Karen B, the legend.
What's going on?
No, not much. I just recently found out that you were up on YouTube crushing, and I've been following along here for a while. I've known your name for a long time, just never knew you were up on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, had no idea you were up on YouTube.
Oh, well, here I am. Tell your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. You're talking about these crystals. I'm just a yapper over on TikTok, get on the lives and chit-chat with people. But, yeah, there's a lot of people talk about the crystals, and I think today's podcast would be definitely a good reference for a lot of them.
Yeah, totally. Because I think a lot of people need to be looking more at this stuff.
Yeah, and what you had just said about the possible meteorites, that kind of struck some chords. Like, hey, there might be something here.
Yeah, for sure. Is that it?
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is awesome. I can't wait to share.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, keep crushing, Karen.
All right.
Have a great one.
You too. Yeah, I know. Nobody knows I'm here. Nobody wants to listen to Karen. She's a Karen. She doesn't think giant trees are real. She's a gatekeeper. She's a gatekeeper. Just found me yesterday. Wow. You can chert obsidian into arrowheads. Yeah. So, I think maybe I'll just be talking about this a lot more. You know, we need to get deep down in there, and we need to understand what's going on. And know that this stuff, you know, and I don't, and, you know, and also some people try to tell me I'm pushing mainstream stuff. Hey, listen, not everybody's lying. Not every piece of data is a lie, okay? It's the interpretation. The lie is in the interpretation, okay? So whenever I'm looking at mainstream data, I'm not looking at it to confirm mainstream stories. When I look at mainstream data, I'm looking at it to sort of see if I can interpret it a different way that makes sense in reality and also helps debunk the globe, yada, yada, yada. Okay? But you can't just assume that all of the things that people are doing, you know, is if just because they believe they live on a globe, not everybody is giving you false information. A lot of this stuff has nothing to do with whether the earth is flat or not. It's just objective reality on how minerals work, how physics works. And just the lie, like I said, is in the interpretation of the data. So, you know, this is why I look at stuff like this. I think we can learn from it by going back to basics and looking at the data and then putting it through the filter of reality and, you know, sort of putting it through the flat earth filter, I guess, the geocentric filter. How does it work? Does it work? Does it make sense? Most of the time it does. I actually haven't come across anything that doesn't make sense. So, you know, auto hoax everything. An Instagram model? No. That etymology with Antarctica is blatant. What etymology? What did I miss? Were you guys having a separate conversation in chat? Yes, Karen, that is why I giggle when the guys go all tech. They need to step away from the numbers and actually look at what they're describing with them. Yeah. A micrometer is a 1/1000th of a millimeter. Thank you. Yes, Karen, this is why... you already said that. Whatever. Did the chat jump? Yeah. It's true. Just because something looks like something else, that's not enough proof for someone to say that something actually is. Yes! Dr. Back ass words. Yes, absolutely. 100%. I mean, if you look at above, like river systems from above or anything from above, and then look up the human, you know, vein system, the cardiovascular system, and then look up tree roots and stuff like that. And all of it looks the same. The lightning strike across the sky, you know, all of these things they have the same visual, you know, a similar visual appearance, but they're not all of the same thing. It's just that they're all driven by the same force. Everything in this realm is subject to the same force of nature. All the laws of physics, everything has to adhere to it, right? The golden ratio, everything here is subject to the same stuff. So that, in my opinion, is how we get the visual similarities between one thing to another, right? It's why the tree, you know, the crystal looks like the tree stump, looks like the mountain, you know, or whatever. And manipulated by our masters. Anyone can test a lot of this stuff. They cannot lie about natural law and what is testable and repeatable, right? Electrical burning of wood does the lightning pattern thing too, yes. Exactly. Back to the basics. If you accelerate a gas or liquid, it's going to displace. Okay, but... What? Karen, I think we were talking about what I said, which is the etymology of the prefix ant. One of the definitions is to surround. Really? I guess that makes sense though, because it's Arctic is the center, and then the Antarctic. But let's see. Come on. Antarctica. Antipodes. Anti. Or ant. Is there just an ant? Anti. Word forming element of Greek origin meaning against, opposed to, opposite of, instead, blah blah blah. Anti, over, against, opposite, instead, in the place of, for the sake of, compared with, in opposition to, derives meaning from, for, become ant, French. Anti, over, against. Opposite to, opposite, Antichrist. Ant, forehead. Let's see, from the Pi root, ant, front, forehead, in front of, before. I'm not finding that. Pro-Indo-European European root meaning front, forehead with derivatives in front of, before, and. It is a hypothetical source of evidence with Sanskrit anta, end, border, boundary. Boundary. There you go. Hanta, opposite. Anta, entering, over, before, place, time, Yeah, the only thing that I can see that kind of may look like that is using it as border or boundary. Sanskrit anta, end, border, or boundary. That's interesting. All the way at the bottom. Had to go all the way to the bottom to find it. According to global logic, an ant could see Antarctica where the Earth flat. Even the lungs have the alveoli. Yes, exactly. The lungs, the veins, the rivers, the space between mountains, the valleys. Just so much. The roots on the tree, the veins in leaves. It's kind of crazy. Electrical, yes. Everything has the creator's fingerprint. Hi, Trevor7. Good to see you. Yes, it does. Sue, call in. Why? What happened? Crystal. Crystal Karen B. There is always a portion of truth in their lies. Exactly. Exactly. Because nobody would buy any of it, right? I say this all the time. No, if it was 100% aligned, nobody would buy any of it, because there has to be a bit of truth to hold on to make it enticing, to make it believable, to grab you in, because you're not going to believe something that is complete and utter bullshit. Well, I say that, but then other things pop into my mind. But you know what I'm saying? In general, if you're logical about stuff, you're not gonna believe complete and utter BS. There has to be some bit of truth in there. They're systematically changing definition, right? They changed the definition of retard to actually include using it as a derogatory term for somebody with a disability, like somebody with a mental or physical disability, which I have never used that word to describe somebody who actually has a legitimate physical disability. I always use retard in reference to normal, full functioning adults who choose to do stupid shit. 100%, that's all. I mean, I don't understand why they would even do that. Really true, but also prefix is Ost prefix is Latin for east, only got switched to meaning south in the last 100 years. Let's look up that. East. It comes up as east. Old English east, eastum, east, easterly, eastward. Literally toward the sunrise. Oh. Did you see they changed the Wikipedia definition of horizon and replaced the word line with curve? No. Get the hell out of here. Let's look. Sheepopedia, what did you do? Horizon? The horizon is the apparent curve that separates the surf. Oh my god. There's no apparent curve on the horizon? Are they kidding? Most challenged people deserve more respect for overcoming their obstacles than the average user's mouth breathe. I agree with that. I agree with that. How do they say there's an apparent curve that separates the surface of a celestial body from its sky? Oh, so they're trying to make it generic, like every planet will have every planet's horizon. This is on every planet. The horizon has the apparent curve that separates the surface of a celestial body from its sky. Because we've been on all kinds of other planets, right? Oh, come on. Give me a break. The true horizon is a theoretical line which can only be observed to any degree of accuracy when it lies along the relatively smooth surface such as that of the Earth's oceans. At many locations, this line is obscured by terrain, and on Earth it can also be obscured by life forms such as trees, human constructs such as buildings, blah blah blah. So here they left it line, but here it got changed to curve. A surface of a celestial body. Like, that's the dumbest freaking definition of horizon I have ever seen. Look at the apparent curve, you guys. Do you see it? You should change it. You can change Wikipedia just like the Globies can, right? Yeah, you can edit Wikipedia, but I don't ever try to. And plus they change it back. Like, I remember watching people change stuff on Wikipedia and then it would just get changed back. Let's see. Yeah, you have to log in. You have to create an account and log in to edit. The word horizon derives from the Greek horizon kyklos, separating circle, to divide, to separate, which in turn derives from boundary landmark. Let's see. Horizonte, from the Greek horizon, bounding circle, bounding limit, divide, separate, bounding circle from your eyesight, right? That's what it would be, the bounding circle from your point of view, from your eyesight. Horizon, meaning flat, parallel to the horizon. Horizontal. So horizontal can't mean flat if horizon means, you know, the apparent curve. How fucking retarded. Oh boy. The bullshit just never ends, I swear to God. Wiki will not accept some changes if it reveals too much truth. Exactly. Because I remember somebody trying to change the page for like the Michelson-Morley experiment, you know, because they put the incorrect interpretation on Wikipedia, of course. Off topic, but I'm in Florida in a third-story condo trying to look across the water with my son's telescope. Oh, cool. Look, you gotta look towards something. So, anyway, there's that. And so that, my friends, is why I don't believe in giant trees. I, you know, I think, well, I don't believe in Titan-sized trees, because I do think there were giant trees and there still are giant trees, and possibly have been trees bigger than what we have now, because they were allowed to grow for much longer, untouched. So certainly there could even be, you know, big petrified trees the size of some of these redwoods or cedars, because of being under the slurry and into the perfect conditions for becoming such during the flood. And that's how I see it. Picked a ton of cherries. All right. So does anybody else, anybody have any input? 848-222-2480 if you want to call in. Can't believe Wikipedia says that about Horizon. What a bunch of hooey. Good God Almighty. Do. So the Schumann resonance, not entirely sure what's going on here. Interesting though. What else had I seen? This time is it 12:12? I could wrap it up. Oh no, here we got callers. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
I called in once before about Bigfoot. I've been watching for a while, but when you showed those crystals, they were round, and I cut apart a tree, like the base of a tree, and I found crystals
like sap crystals that were round like that looked just like little crystals. And it was, wow, I can't hear you.
You mean in the tree, or?
Yeah, and when I pulled off the bark, it was a dead tree that the sap had ran down, and we were making a bench out of it, and it was like all these little balls, kind of like what you were showing, and I just felt like I had to call in and tell you that part.
Huh? Were you cutting through them with your saw, or was it what happened? I don't get it. I'm just curious.
Well, yeah, it was a stump about 20 inches tall. It was the base of a tree, and we split it in half. We were just making a bench to put a plank on top, and we pulled the bark off. It was all dead and stuff, and we pulled it off, and the whole thing was full of sap, and there was all these little balls. I tried to find the picture. I can't find it now, but I don't know. I just had to put my 2 cents in, you know.
Well, I'd like to see a picture of it. If you find it, you should email it to me.
I can't. I think I broke that phone.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, do you still have the bench, or is it? Do you still have the bench, or is like the bench itself still in existence, or what happened to it?
No, I was selling all this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've been a carver for years. I've been working with wood for a long time. And it was just interesting. When you showed that, it's like, well, that's just like what I've seen. You know, I mean, they melted once they got in the sun, you know, and I tried to save them and keep them in the shade, but they just melted back.
Oh, they melted. So maybe it was sap. Yeah. Well, if it
It
melted.
was sap,
yeah.
but it was sap, but it was in the shape of those round crystals that you were showing.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. Interesting.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I don't know. That's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Love your show.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's weird of these things, these things that form these in nature. It's kind of a trip. I mean, that should tell you that that's intelligent design when you find these cool looking natural formations. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen B, it's Exposing Mosh Tricks here.
Hey.
Her eye's on you right now, okay? So I'm going to ask you, why is it no ledge?
No ledge?
Why is knowledge no ledge?
I don't know, but it's funny the way you say it. I never thought about it like that. It is funny.
Well, if you think of the horizon as the ledge, then someone claimed to know the cause of that ledge. And that character's name is Satan. I say tangential sight along the sinusoidally curving earth is causing the horizon. And this is the foundation of all of heliocentrism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Along with the F-act, gravity, a pull for the apole to create the plumb line. It's all, the root of their story is in fruit. And all their figures come from it. And, logic is not log, because it doesn't come from the tree of knowledge. All science it branches. So this giant tree has yet to be chopped down, and it is the tree of knowledge. And understanding that Satan is the scion grafted to it to create science, and God is the tree. Tree is a cross. The T, it starts seeing it as the cross. A cross, R-E-E. E-E is 5-5. Satan adds up to 5-5. So if God is the tree and Satan is the scion grafted to it, then it appears to be Mother's trick. And, she is the source of all of this, if you ask me. So,
interesting.
I appreciate you listening.
All right. Interesting. Thank you.
All right, love you, Karen B. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Interesting. You have to stick it up your bum, Brian. Ted, what are you talking about? How do I remove the stupid emoji that now blocks the bottom right corner of the chat? Oh, you know what? Let me see if I can make it go away. Let's see. It's like an option, allow reactions or whatever. I don't know if I can change it after the fact. I don't think so. Oh, here we go. Let me see. Did it fix it? Gone? Hey, I fixed it. Okay, you guys, yeah, that stupid live reaction button. Okay, I'll leave it off from now on. I think it defaults to being on and I didn't even think about it. All right. Look at how happy you all are. Isn't that great? That's so funny. That's so funny. I know, I hate that stupid thing too. And I just don't even think about it when I set up the stream to turn it off. So let's see if it'll... It is dumb. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Well, good morning, Karen B. It is William in California. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, man. I was listening to that last caller talking about the tree and the mother playing a trick, and I tried to follow him. Did you exactly know what he was talking about? I know you're going through the scriptures with just Jack and whatnot. But
not exactly. I might go back and re-listen to it myself too, because I'm not exactly 100% sure. Excuse me.
Well, it's funny he mentioned the trick of the mother, and I'm not sure how far along you are in the scriptures, but Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the mother of Jacob and Esau. I don't know if you remember the part where the mom pulls a trick on Isaac because he's old and can't see, and she puts the goat skin and gives gives Jacob the blessing of the firstborn instead of Esau.
Yeah.
So it's funny, that's something that's mentioned in the scriptures. So I wouldn't say his theory is unfounded. I see parallels in the scriptures for sure.
Oh yeah. There probably is something there.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't recognize the fella, but I figured I'd shout out to Jan. How about just Jack? And then my driving friend, oh my goodness, the guy that talks about books a lot. I forgot his name again. Man, I'm so sorry. I did it last time. I got a brain freeze. You know who I'm talking about? You guys, he calls in pretty regularly.
I'm not sure.
He's always got a wealth of knowledge of stuff and tells Mark about the books he's sent.
Oh, you're talking about
Dennis. It popped in my head all of a sudden.
Yeah, Dennis.
Yeah, so shout out to Dennis, Jaron. So, are you pretty excited about this Oktoberfest? Think it's going to be the best one ever?
Yes, I am excited about Flattoberfest. It's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be international. Yeah, man. I'm excited about the people that are going to be there.
I want to go. I want to go. It's about I forget. It's quite a many hour drive. And I want some people to go with me for sure. I wouldn't drive all that way by myself. So I would definitely try to bring an entourage if I could.
There you go.
That would be my goal. So, which would be easy since I live right on the I-5 corridor. I would imagine. So
I'm sure. Yeah.
So so it's 3 days, right? So it starts Friday and goes till Sunday, right?
Well, it's Saturday and Sunday. The event's going to happen Saturday and Sunday, but some people are getting there early. Like, I'm going to be there a little bit early, but I have to be there early because I'm organizing it, right? So, but it is going to be Saturday and Sunday. There could possibly be something organized for the Friday before. I just don't have that set up yet because it's a remote location. It's not like where I've been doing it, where I have the park directly across the street, where it makes it really easy. So I really don't know about that, but I'm totally open to somebody helping me put something together for Friday. If somebody else wants to try to figure it out,
well,
I'll put it on the website and everything.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Honestly, I just think it'll naturally and organically happen anyway because of, we're gathering there because we have a belief, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that belief is driven by truth. And so I think, if enough people get together, it don't matter where or when. We know I just think it's going to happen organically. So if I can go, I'll be definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So not sure if I'll get the kid to come. Actually, he's still be in school. So, that won't let me go early. Well, maybe I could. I don't know. But he's 14, so I'm not sure if he'll be into it or not. And I'm not going to force him to do anything. So, but yeah, it'd be cool to meet you. I've already met Mark. He wasn't impressed, so maybe I can do a better job impressing you. Oh, my goodness. So anyway, I just wanted to say hello and good morning. I don't really get a chance to listen Tuesday nights anymore, but I am usually driving out and about on Monday morning. So I appreciate your scriptures you do on Saturday. So with you and Jack, that's always good to listen to. And just keep on doing what you're doing. And I guess that's it for now.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for calling.
Yeah. Peace out.
All right. Yes, one giant blue dot. No such thing as belief based in truth. I agree, MFT. I don't call flat earth, I don't refer to it as a belief. I pretty much consider it like I know the earth is a level, stationary plane. Feel very comfortable in this. It makes sense. It's how the earth presents itself. And all of the other stuff that we study with that foundation just seems to be falling in place as time goes on. Like, I feel like we've come a really long way in the last few years as far as our understanding about natural physics and the electromagnetic, sort of nature of the realm. And crystals, my goodness, crystals, I think, are the key. Like, a lot of these things just can't, are confirmed, exhibited through the properties of crystals. So, cheers, Trevor. We actually tested, not a globe. Exactly. We measured, we tested, it's not a globe. It's definitely not what they say it is. It's definitely not what they say it is. So speaking of Flattoberfest, I don't think I've talked about it at all yet. So I'll go ahead and go over that really quick here. Flattoberfest 2023 is the biggest flat earth event of the year, happening finally on the West Coast in Las Vegas, Nevada, Saturday and Sunday of October 21st and 22nd, 2023. And you can see we have some of our people listed here who will be there. Mark Sargent, Mark Devlin, Jaronism, Dave Murphy, Ben Balderson, Jason Lindgren, DITRH, and more to be announced. Also, we will be having, I think we're pretty sure we're going to have Chief Crow and the Flat Earthworms there again to play some music, possibly Lowry again. Not 100% sure. It's not everything is not set in stone yet. I'm not even anywhere close to having a schedule set yet. But that's what's up. So we're going to have Mark Devlin. And he's a really interesting guy. He did a lot of beautiful rants against the draconian, mandates and law and, crap that people was being pushed on people during the pandemic. He's really good, very eloquent. Also did a lot of studying of, the 432 hertz, the deception, as far as that goes, and like the music industry, that sort of thing. You're all and everybody's pretty familiar with Jaron, debunking NASA, one of our best NASA debunkers. And then Dave Murphy, you guys should all be familiar with Dave Murphy. He is also from the UK. He talks about all kinds of stuff. He did that fabulous flat earth interview. I think that was on was that Hungarian television or something that really went viral that we've watched play on the Globebusters 24/7 over and over and over again. He also did that epic debate with a physicist about flat earth, and he just buried that guy. So, but Dave lately has been doing a lot of talks about navigating the matrix. And so I think that's what he'll be talking about in Las Vegas. He will be doing his Navigating the Matrix talk, which is fabulous. I think that more people need to learn information like that. Like, how do we navigate in this world the way it is, knowing what we know about how this place runs? It makes it extremely difficult, to really sort of be okay with things that we have to do to exist here in the Matrix, being aware of all the deception, right? So Dave Murphy will be talking about navigating the Matrix. I think it'll be really cool. And then, of course, Ben Balderson, our resident alchemist, will be there. Jason Lindgren, who is, you guys all know from the Crow 777 podcast, he always does really, really great presentations. I really appreciate the consistent quality content from Jason and Crow. Okay, and of course, more to be announced. We are going to be having our event at Sam's Town Hotel and Gambling Hall. As you can see, I now have a book hotel button at the website, so you can buy your tickets, right? Click here, buy your ticket, get your ticket, and then also book your hotel. And this link will take you to the Sam's Town link to book your hotel for the event. You do have to give a deposit of one night's deposit to get the room rate, to get the group room rate at Sam's Town. But they do give you a little bit of a discount if you use the group link. So there's that. Also, right next door is a KOA, right next door to Sam's Town. Okay, so if you want to go that route and you have a camper, you can take your camper, reserve a spot at the KOA, and you will be directly next door to the hotel where we are having the event. So I feel like this is a great location. This is, let's see. Yeah, so right here. So here's the KOA, and then here's Sam's Town, which is a huge place. It's got a bowling alley, it's got a movie theater, lots of food places, all kinds of stuff to do. So as you can see, Sam's Town, here it is. It's on the east side of Las Vegas. It is not on the Strip. see, it's right here next to the hills, right? The strip is over here to the west. It's across town. So you can stay at another hotel on the strip. You can also stay up here on Fremont Street, right? Which is the old strip. So, and it's all relatively close to where Sam's Town is. I don't think it's more than 20 minutes away. Let's see. Directions from Sam's Town to, like, let's say the Bellagio. Let's just get a rough idea. 22 minutes. Okay, so it's like 20 minutes across town. Just cruise. 6.6 miles. So if you did go and you do want to go to the strip and go check out all the fancy part of Vegas, you can do that. Here's the airport. So I think Sam's Town's about 15 minutes from the airport. And so that's what's up. It's going to be fantastic. Also, if you want to join the Telegram group, you can join this Telegram group, and you can possibly find somebody to carpool with if you are not flying, if you're within driving distance, or you're even, kind of far away and you just want somebody to carpool with so you don't have to make that super long drive on your own and that's how you want to go. You might be able to find somebody in that group to travel with. It would be cool to go to all the events because no one comes to the Boston area. That's because Boston is, even if, it would be cool to do an event in the Northeast, but man, those states. Ryan, yes, even the south of York. I'm in Elliott, which is next to Kittery. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I missed it. Flat Earth Dork will try to be at Flattoberfest. Okay, I have no idea who Flat Earth Dork is. Scotty, that's less than an hour, blah, blah, blah. Sam's Town is basically on Flamingo Road, straight shot Uber to Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, Horseshoe, and the next best inexpensive rib dinner in Vegas at Ellis Island Casino and Microbrewery. It's awesome that you're there in Vegas, Call for Zero. I appreciate you giving us your take. The KOA across the street looks good and just half full when I checked yesterday. RV parking in the Sam's Town lot as well, south side. Yeah, they have a huge parking lot. They tout it as where the locals bring their friends. Like when you want to go hang out and have a good time in Vegas, but you don't want to be at the touristy, expensive strip part. That's kind of where we're going to be. Flamingo and Industrial. Let's see. So here's Flamingo Road. And then this 582 Boulder Highway. The address, it's got a Boulder Highway address, right? It's like 5111 Boulder Highway or whatever they say it is. And then, yeah, Flamingo Road right here. So you could come up the backside, right, I guess. Yeah, so awesome. And then this is the KOA. Also, I remember I was showing you guys, they have a nice pool. See down here, here's the pool. Here's a pool and hot tub area in the back of the hotel. So they do have a pool, they have a gym, they have a workout room. So I think it's a great place. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Go smoke in Canada. Where's the best steak dinner? Actually, let me pull up the Samstown website because they actually have a steakhouse attached to Samstown. Watch, dine. Angry Butcher Steakhouse. Angry Butcher deviled eggs. Seafood. This is all seafood stuff. I want a steak. It's a nice place. That's nice. So there's that. There's casual dining, TGI Fridays, Quick Bites. They also have bars. There's a taco shop. Here, let me click on this other that shows everything. Sports Deli. And of course, they got McDonald's, Panda Expressors, fast food, Dunkin' Donuts. Here's a taco shop, Roberto's Taco Shop. I'm a little excited about trying the taco shop. Also, Crazy Corn, a local Vegas business specializing in traditional Mexican crazy corn. That looks good. The bowling place has food. Anyway, there's a lot to choose from. I think you guys will be okay. And also it's Vegas. There's going to be others. Here's a sushi place down the road for people who want sushi. I don't know. It's Vegas. They're going to have whatever you want, you guys. They're going to have whatever you want. It just won't all be right inside of Samstown, but I'm sure there'll be, you guys can go, I'm sure not even more than a few minutes, and you guys can get whatever you want. So don't worry about it. Roberto's is the bomb, started in San Diego. The buffet at Caesars is the best spot to go to the back Chanel best food in Vegas. How do you say that word? Disconnected from source, and this reality is a template for experience. Ellis Island does steak in their restaurant. I'm sure you can find a steak dinner. Hooter beer. Nathan Sanders says the best vegan food is in Vegas. Some vegan food is really good, man. I'm not against eating vegan food. I just can't eat it exclusively. But there probably is really a really good vegan restaurant. You know. Here you go. Here's all the vegan restaurants in Las Vegas. Asian Vegan, Veg Nation, Vegan Dim Sum, Modern Vegan, 4.4 stars. Ooh, these have really good... This dim sum place has 4.8 stars. Wow. I might go get dim sum there. Flamingo Road. Oh, is that right by, where we're gonna be? Get right out of town. It's over here. It's down the road. Oh, it's right here. Chef Kenny's Vegan Dim Sum. Almost 5 stars. I have to say I'm interested in trying that. Vegas Vegan Culinary School. Tarantino's Vegan. Well, they got a lot. They do. They got plenty of vegan places. No Butcher. Vegan Sushi. There you go. Plenty of vegan in Vegas. All right. Tartarian vegan? What does that mean? Some carnival food is good too. Yeah, but it sure as shit ain't good for you though. You'd be cooking steaks at the campfire at the KOA. I'm sure somebody will be. Yeah. Right? But it's good. It's all good once in a while. I would never eat McDonald's though. I highly recommend you don't ever eat McDonald's. Yeah, look at that burger, just looks fucking gross, dude. Look at it. That burger looks disgusting to me. Ugh. My burgers are way prettier than that. God, they look way better than that. Way better. Way better. Alright, so anyway, that's what's up. Is it time to wrap it up? So yeah, I ate vegans. Melted Bricks Museum. Angry Butcher is a great steakhouse. Someone says if you can't find it in Vegas, you don't need it. Karen, do you know, will they adjust the dates for the block if I book, i.e. if I go through the block but want to stay 10, 19 through 25? Carrie, call the hotel. Call them and ask them. They probably will do it if you want to add nights and you're part of the group, but probably you have to call them because I think I'm not sure about the system if you can add the dates and it'll give you the discounted rate. So Carrie, I would call the hotel and check. Yeah, because the 19th is Thursday and 25 is yeah. I'm probably going to be getting there that Thursday too. I don't think I'll be staying through Wednesday, but I probably will get there Thursday. Tacos El Gordo. Dude, I've been living off burgers all week. I'm not kidding. Like I thawed out. I had a package of beef that was thawed out, and then Cammy came over, and I was like, well, I guess I can make burgers. And then like, you know, it's just me and Cammy. Cammy doesn't eat a lot. I can only eat one burger, so I made the whole thing into burger patties, and I put them in the fridge. And every day, once a day, I just pulled out a burger patty and cooked myself a burger. Ted, that's what I've been eating while you've been gone. I've been eating a burger a day. I ate my last burger yesterday. Well, oh no, I take it back. Saturday, I went and hung out with Dr. Law and everybody at the pool, and Law had a bunch of sushi, and then Sarah and Griff made guacamole and salsa and chips, so I ate that food, and then I went home and I didn't feel the need to eat a burger. But then the next day, Sunday, yesterday, I ate my last burger. So I've had like a burger a day all week. I like burgers though. Like it's a good complete meal. You know, you put your veggies on there, your guacamole, your cheese. I had one day I put a fried egg on it. It was good. It's good with a fried egg. If you haven't had a burger with a fried egg, I highly recommend it at least once. Just try it. I'm telling you, it's the bomb. It's the bomb. When that yummy, gooey egg yolk, you know, runs down over the juicy meat. That's delicious. That's delicious. Maybe you'd like it with some sugar on it, Brian. Cook every fucking day for 4 people because I can't trust most restaurants. Hey man, I hear you. I hear you, MFT. I cook all my food. I cook all my own food for the most part. I mean, sometimes I'll go out, but for the most part, I'm cooking all my own food. Put the pics up from Saturday pool meetup. Oh, okay. One second. Here we go. Saturday pool meetup. There we are. There's Witsit. Witsit was there. Tiffany, Sarah, Griff, Daniel, his wife. I'm sorry, Daniel, I forget your wife's name, and all their cute little children were running around. There you go. That was us, Saturday. Woohoo! Throwing down my shilly flat sign. Yeah, that was fun. That's the way I like your burger, with an egg on it. Fast food's not to be trusted. So I'm saying, if you just eat the best version of it, it's okay to eat it. Like pizza. Like pizza's good if you make the dough and you make the sauce and you use a fresh mozzarella. That's good shit. It's not good when you go to fucking Little Caesars with the pizza and you get 2 big pizzas for $5 and you're eating like fucking plastic and whatever kind of bullshit. Who knows what kind of bullshit they put in there. Oh my god, that pizza is disgusting. You just have to eat the cleanest version of whatever it is you like to eat. I would love to go to Japan and eat food in Japan. You want to try tempeh? I've tried tempeh. I wasn't a fan. I guess it's okay. Yes. Yes. Alright. It's almost 1 o'clock. I guess I should wrap it up. Make pizza from scratch twice a week? Yeah. My mom got me this pizza oven thing. It's a little, you cook pizzas in it like with fire. It's like a little pizza oven. It's like a Bortello or Bertello. Let me look it up. See if I don't know if that's the right thing. Yeah, this thing. My mom got me one of these things. This. So I got one of these things, and you can do it with propane or coal, like fire. I've only used it with charcoal and wood, right? Like wood fired. So there's a thing in the back where you build the fire in the back, and that has a pizza stone, and you just get it really, really hot, and you slide the pizza in there, just like a wood-fired pizza oven, and you get wood-fired pizza out of it, dude. It is the bomb. It's so much fun. The first time I used it, it was a complete disaster. The second time I used it, it was great. You have to get a wood peel. This metal peel is bullshit. Fuck that metal peel. You need to get a wooden peel, and then it's the bomb. It's the bomb. It's just like, it's like the coolest thing ever, dude. I love it. It like makes me not want to go out to eat pizza anymore, because they're nothing. It's, you know, the pizzas you get from someplace else are not as good as the pizzas you make. You get like fresh ingredients, man. You can't, nothing compares. Nothing. Yeah, you can build your own outdoor oven out of fire bricks. Yeah, a cast iron pan in the oven is a great way to do it too. I've done it that way, Billingtano, where I did like a deep dish pizza like that and put it in the oven and cooked it in a hot cast iron pan. Yeah, buddy, that's good too. I do that too. All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to go on about my day, hang out with my childrens, and, you know, do my thing. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to join me same place, same channel tomorrow with Mark Sargent for another wonderful episode of Strange World with Mark Sargent. And of course Saturday for anti-religious scripture study. Hopefully Jack will be filling up to doing a stream this coming Saturday, and we'll get back into the swing of things, and that's it. Then of course again Monday for coffee talk, and I do plan on throwing in a members only stream somewhere in the mix there. I just have to find time to do it. It's just extremely difficult for me to find extra time for stuff, you guys, so please forgive me for not being better about that stuff, but I am trying, and I do appreciate you all being here. I appreciate all of your support. I hope to see as many of you as possible at Flattoberfest 2021 in Las Vegas. I hope you enjoyed my talk on giant tree hesitancy, why I don't believe in giant trees, and that there really is a logic, and I do have my reasons. I have good reasons for not believing it. I have good reasons to think that the story is a little bit different than what most people are thinking that it is, and I just hope that some of you will take the time to maybe consider these other possibilities, and that's it. That's all. And what else? I guess that's it. Well, no, I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'll talk about it later. I got a lot of stuff going on. Just keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button. I never say that on my channel, but I notice, YouTube unsubscribing me from people, and people are telling me that they're getting unsubscribed from my channel. So just make sure that you are following my channels. You can join the Rebellion in Telegram as well. The Rebellion is a group chat that I have created where I share most of my links, and then everybody can chat in there and post links and yada yada yada. It started when Facebook started banning me all the time, and I still actually like it. So there's that. So anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. Try to enjoy the summer, all those weird storming here all week. And we'll see you soon. All right, you guys, cheers. And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina, 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations. And I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flattoberfests and flat earth friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local Flat Earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com. Thank you for being here.